All right, so today we are starting to put in the foundation for what's going to be our permanent cabin sole. The goal is to have the entire bilge accessible, unlike before where it just had little hatches here and there to access it. We're going to be using the 20 mil marine ply for the actual floorboards, and we've got a little mock-up of, we're going to be laminating these two pieces of 20 mil up against the fiberglass and then, glassing over them so they're super solid. And then the cabin sole is going to sit on top of that. And then we're going to add latches and pins so that it doesn't move anywhere. Yesterday we cut down some long strips of ply and epoxied them together. And I just finished building these temporary floor templates. If this is kind of representative of our floorboards, then these just little tabs on the end are to keep it level with the fiberglass that exists already. And then so we can line everything up underneath and we can bog it in so that it's solid and we can glass it tomorrow. So it's gonna be a little bit fiddly to get it all leveled and perfect. That way, when the floorboards go down after, they should fit perfectly. We're gonna add little 4 mil shims underneath here to sort of represent the thickness of the fiberglass, which is maybe about 1 mil or 2, and then space for some foam or rubber or something to keep the floorboards from squeaking. And then everything should line up perfectly.
Do anything else today because we've placed in the support for the floors and we can't touch anything until they're actually cured and dry. So we're done for today. Hey guys, really quick, I want to take a minute to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is BetterHelp. So taking care of my mental health has been a huge priority for me over the years, and even though I am a strong, bubbly person who smiles through life, I also have my own personal demons that I'm fighting behind the camera. And between fighting with my ADHD and my low self-esteem that I'm working on and battling with acne, which if you ever suffer with acne, then you know the struggle. It's real, it's in here as well as it is physical. And so for me, therapy has been a huge help throughout this mental journey of mine. And there is a misconception that if you are talking to a therapist, it's because you have mental issues and it's because you're struggling through depression or whatever other mental problem you may have. And that is just not true, to be honest. I personally believe that going through therapy and practicing mindfulness is just as good as a habit as staying hydrated. It's just good for your mind. And for me, BetterHelp has been a good part of this journey because it's so convenient, it's more affordable. And when we were sailing, it was impossible for me to find an in-person therapist and to keep up with them while we're sailing. But also, even now that we're not sailing, here in Italy, the language barrier is so difficult that BetterHelp just makes things easy. And so BetterHelp connects you with one of their licensed therapists who is trained to listen to you with unbiased opinion. And to sign up is super easy. You just answer a few personal questions and then they connect you with your therapist, which you can talk to within 48 hours. You can chat with them via messaging or phone call or video call or whatever is convenient to you. And I think honestly, that's the best aspect of this platform is that accessibility. I get it. In-person therapy is amazing, but not everybody has the luxury of seeing somebody face to face all the time, or not everybody wants to do that, to be honest. And so if you are someone who thinks that you could benefit from online therapy and you want to try BetterHelp, then check out the link below and you can enjoy a special discount on your first month. On that note, let's get back to the boat. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but ever since I started all these healthy habits that I'm doing, I haven't seen V in some time. I don't know about you, but I kind of miss her. I kind of miss hearing her voice lurking around my brain. But I guess it's a good thing that I don't see her. So, all right, let's get back to the boat. All right, we're going to do a bit of an experiment today. Yesterday, we finished putting in the base structure for the cabin sole, and now that it's cured and dry, we can move on to the next step. We are going to encapsulate it with fiberglass because it is exposed wood and this is the bilge and we don't want it to, you know, be exposed to water all the time. But we've been trying to figure out what to do with this gap underneath. And we've had a couple different options, like cutting the same foam that we used for the ribs and those stringers, or fill it up with filler, but that would be a lot of filler. But so what we've decided to do is to use expanding foam. We did like a little bit of a test. We filled up a cup and it expanded like 15 times bigger than what we mixed. But this foam is the same thing that they use for floating buoys. This is a closed cell polyurethane, I can't say that word. Closed cell polyurethane, correct me if I'm wrong, foam. We are going to be using this in a lot of other places on the boat. So we figured since we already have a lot of it, this is a really good place to experiment with it because it's not so structural. It is just to fill in the gap so that we can put fiberglass over it and enclose the entire thing. So that's what we're going to be playing with today. Basically, it's two liquids that are part A and part B. You mix it together, stir it up, and we have maybe 15 seconds before it starts expanding. So we do not have a lot of time. So let's do this.
The cool part about that expanding foam is it doesn't apply much like external pressure. It just sort of expands until it touches something, and then if it has a way out, it will make it out, but it's not gonna like explode. So I think we're gonna like take a piece of cardboard, trim it so it fits perfectly, cover it with packing tape so that it doesn't absorb, doesn't get stuck to the foam, and then
just
like,
hold it.
We're gonna tape it along the bottom, and we're gonna like open it up, dump some foam in, close it, and then probably just hold it there for like 15 seconds while it expands. And then once it's sort of expanded, it takes a little while for it to fully cure, but then we can leave it and move on to the next piece. So that's the plan.
Let's try it.
All right, so let's cover this side with tape. Now, put some pieces like along the bottom to make a hinge, make a foam tight seal.
How many cubic millimeters do you think that is? I think it looks like about half a liter.
Here's das Plan.
Syringe.
We're gonna use one syringe for each so we don't mix it in the syringes. And we're just gonna go like full squirt, two. And I'm gonna go mix.
And then full squirt.
Pour, close, and then move around to hold again.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Ow.
This isn't gonna like blow up in our faces. You do get some time. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yep. Good? All right. One syringe. Right up to 10. Two syringe. Right up to 10. All right, open.
Here we go.
And we're pouring. Open more.
Can't without undoing the tape. I feel like that's not going to be enough.
I feel like you're gonna be very wrong.
It's not a lot at all.
I know.
All right, now we close. It's already there. We can probably just.
Oh yeah, it's definitely speaking. No, keep holding.
Oh, yeah.
It's about to make it there. It's expanding.
Oh no! It's gonna explode.
Let me see.
Perfect.
Did it fill the whole thing?
Yes.
Can we like? Nope.
Let's not.
Let's just wait a second.
All right, that was quite successful.
High five. One done.
Probably if we waited longer, this would be smarter. There we go.
Totally.
Boom. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It pushed off just enough that we'll be able to like sand it.
Hopefully it doesn't expand more than that.
The edges probably will. You can hear it. The last little, it has like a little bit more expansion. But yeah, this is perfect because we'll be able to cut it like straight down, and then it's gonna be a much better glass joint to have it just flush, like all the way along here rather than going under and then down again. I like it. It's like a waterproof foam, so and it's gonna be covered in glass. So.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole point of this is to just become a space filler.
Yeah.
Because it's the glass that's gonna hold it together. I mean, honestly, this is already super solid, but the glass is gonna make it even more solid.
Yeah, we mixed the resin with colloidal silica, which is like a structural filler. So this, just the glue, just the resin holding on this piece of plywood is strong enough that you'd have to rip off every layer of plywood for it to delaminate. So it's already super strong enough. We're covering it in glass to make it waterproof. All right, let's do that 10 more times. Kind of cool when you pull the cardboard off, the rest of the foam just sort of has this kind of snap, crackle, pop. Kind of reminds me of like the glaciers up in Svalbard that have this sort of like crackle to them, which is really cool. But yeah, it looks like it worked out really well. We have a little bit of touch-ups to do and then some cleaning up and sanding and all that, but super solid, super easy. It was way easier than I was expecting it to be. It went very smoothly. So that's good. That was wicked sound. It was easier than we were expecting, and it cleaned up well, and now we have like a nice flush, smooth, flat surface to put some fiberglass over top of. So there's a couple little spots we're gonna put like a little bit more foam in because it didn't quite fully fill in, and then a little bit of fairing filler to kind of like fill it out the corner, and we'll be ready for glass.
You can still hear the crackling.
It sounds so much like a glacier.
It really does.
I think, what do you think? Should we get started on this? Putting the front of the nook on so we can get the other side? I think we could. Definitely.
Yeah,
could.
like the bulkhead on here.
Still got time. Problem is we have to go outside. It's so much nicer inside with the aircon. It's so hot outside.
I'll wait here. You can go cut it.
No, that's great. That was a very what, Kika? What was it, Kika?
It's a... Everybody repeat after me.
Successful mission!
One more time.
Successful mission!
Yay!
All right, let's keep going.
Yes.
This looks really good.
It was a successful mission.
Beautiful. 0.5. Woo, windy. All right.
Hope it fits. Yes, sir. All right.
Yep,
sit
yep.
down. Yes,
Perfect.
Sir. Yes, sir. Barely. Yeah, a tiny bit more there, or a tiny bit up there. Okay, we have wiggle room. So let's install this to like here. Yeah, so this is the epoxy, and it's about a 3-to-1 ratio. I wrote it down to remember. It's actually 100-to-30, which is this one, but I don't want to mix that much of it.
What are you using it for?
So we're using the epoxy to glue the cabin sole support to the plywood. We're also going to be using the epoxy to glue in all of like the wood backing pieces we're going to be screwing into next week. From our test, it does seem like the vinyl ester we're using is pretty darn strong enough, but this epoxy is a much lower viscosity than the vinyl ester, and so it soaks into the wood more, and it makes an even stronger bond. So since we can find it locally and we have it, we're going to be using it, and we're only using it to glue wood to wood, and so it's a much less, because this bottle costs $50. So we're using it frugally. These mixing cups are nice because they show you like mixing ratios, but I don't want that much of it. So I'm going to mix it in milliliters, probably 60, 80. One of the things I like about using vinyl ester is that, at least the one we're using, the resin is pink, and then when you mix in the catalyst, you can tell that it's well mixed when it turns green, and then it sort of sits for a minute or two, and then it kind of turns this brown color when it's sort of ready to laminate. And so it sort of has like a very visual representation of when you've mixed it enough. And you can really see, like when you're mixing bog with it, you can really see if there's any parts you've missed because it's still pink instead of green. With epoxy, it's just clear. So you mix it for a while and hope you've gotten everything well mixed. All right, let's get started. Make it straight.
Nice.
What's happening today?
Today I'm going to be learning how to use the table saw. Is this part of it? I've used a table saw at Just Cats way back then.
6 years ago.
But it wasn't a portable or complicated looking one. I know how to use most of the tools that we have for this project. You know, I know how to use the hand saw, the circular saw, the vibrator thingy, the hammer, the drill. But there are some things that I haven't quite figured out yet, and that's the table saw is definitely the most intimating, no. Intimidating, no.
Yeah, that's about right.
That sounds
intimidating.
Weird. Intimidating is the most intimidating one.
For good reason. They're scary.
It's big. So first thing first, I'm gonna try to fish that thing out.
Try to get both wheels at the same time. Nice.
All right.
This thing's super cool. So tip it up, and then you just step there, pull this handle, and then you kind of like pull this out a little bit and then push it down. There you go, there you go, there you go. Yeah, and now just push it straight down. Yeah, there you go. It's like a weird, it's a balance point, and then you're good.
Whew.
Nice, right? You're good.
5.
Done. Okay.
Now let's learn how to use this thing.
So, basics of a table saw. Try not to put your fingers where the red thing is. That's rule number 1. Also, if anything ever happens at all, like
Get out, press the red button.
like if a piece of wood gets stuck or whatever, it's better to just like back up than try to force it, because the saw will win and your fingers will lose. Always. Yeah, so let's start by cutting a bunch of pieces for the temp cabin fill. Yeah, we'll take a bunch of that OSB that we already have and cut it down to 44.5.
Okay. Plugging in.
Yeah. And you get the drill. Like, you look here mostly to make sure you're not doing this, right? And then I'd probably
I want the thing to push.
I'd probably put like a finger here. But what you don't want to do is like push with your shoulder, so if something slips, it falls off, right? You want to kind of like lock your palm down and then kind of push with your fingers. So if something slips, your palm stays the same. I'd probably start like this, so you can get a good push here and push here. And then I'd start it in like about there, and then you can kind of keep going. Once it reaches the back of the blade, you could basically like go to here then and just push it through like that. Mm-hmm. And then just keep your fingers like outside of these two. You can almost use that as a guide to make sure that you're not
getting
close
yeah.
to the red.
Also, you can see the blade, so.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you want to bring that back up again? All right, fire it up. Green button. Generally, that was good. We should bring the blade up a little bit.
Yeah,
I would say you were like this, pushing, which means like you're kind of blocking your view. Keep this one pushing down and then this one kind of pushing forward.
Cool. Just cut my first 4 pieces on a table saw.
Good job.
Pretty cool.
All right, let's go see if they fit. Nice.
All right, we have a cabin sole. Well, temporary cabin sole.
You want to see if they fit?
So I'm assuming this big piece goes underneath the ladder.
Yes. Should fit.
Nice. I mean, it's not super straight.
That's why it's temporary.
Sweet.
Nice.
We got a floor.
Look, you have a floor.
We got a floor. Nice. I like it.
How's it feel?
So the real cabin sole, this is a temporary, but the real ones are going to be made out of plywood.
Yeah, that's just like random OSB we have left over.
And are we going to like keep it raw plywood, or are we going to coat it with epoxy or something? We probably should. coat it
Probably
with
like a
epoxy.
layer of glass on top and bottom and seal it with epoxy. Probably. And it'd be super stiff and strong. We'll see.
Super.
Nice, good job.
Nice.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, sporting. Decathlon, fork lays. The one and only Captain Kiko. Bow, bow, bow. rocking the fiberglass dust look.
Can you tell I'm wearing heels?
All right, let's cut this giant bulkhead down.
Okay. All right, guys, I think we have a plan. We double, triple measured everything. We even made a mock-up outside with pallets to make sure that the height is perfect. And now we're ready to cut. And we only have one shot at this, so we want to make sure that we cut it well. Are you ready for?
Yeah. We're gonna disassemble like the temp floor that we put down, and then take this panel back off, and then get the router and just sort of like line it up and route it and line it up and route it and line it up and route it, so that it's all perfectly smooth and perfectly flush and perfectly perfect. And then we're gonna reinstall it temporarily until we get some more tools this week that we can keep working.
Yeah. So let's do this. First piece cut.
Smoking! That may have fucked up the blade, but
I think we probably did.
is it like rounded off?
Yeah.
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 I like that blade. Nice.
Thick though, yeah?
All right, let's route it.
Cool.
Cool.
Look, we have a floor. Final floor. Now we have a place to walk while we finish the rest of this boat. So we glassed in the base structural element. I feel like we did need to glass it in because it's structural enough, but because it's part of the bilge and things are about to get wet and we don't have, I mean, we will have access to it, but we're not gonna look at it every single day. I think just to keep it watertight and waterproof, glassing it was the decision that we went with. We haven't glassed the starboard side yet because we want to finish the nook before we glass it in, but that can wait till later. But for now, this is our final floor. We're gonna have each of these panels lift up So we have access to the bilge. So that there is no space on the boat that we don't have access to. All right, well, I think that is it for this week. And next week we'll tackle another project, probably the V-birth. But in the meantime, we'll leave you guys here and see you guys in the next episode. Cheers. Can you see me?
Yes.
You can't see me, right?
Yeah, I can see
Oh,
you.
okay.